Jöreggelt kívánok, hogy vagy, jó? Start of another day. I decided to shake things up today, you see. Normally I have a cup that says Krakow or Hawaii or Buddha Magyarország or something like that. But today I decided to walk on the wild side a little bit, you see. Hey, you ever hear that song, Take a Walk on the Wild Side? And the color girl saying doot, da doot, da doot, something like that. Who who sings that song? Hmm. Oh, that's good. I got a letter in the mail yesterday from Chris Resop. Resop, Resop. I'm a former Red Sox player. I Googled him. He had a 10 and 12 record with like a 4.6 ERA. I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess, if you make the major leagues, I mean, it's good, regardless if you have a 10 and 12 record or a 12 and 10 record or whatever. I mean, if you make the major leagues, if you walk onto a field, as a major league baseball player, you're good. But anyway, I now work with William Ravis Real Estate, and we are the official real estate company of the Boston Red Sox. And I'm the vice president of William Ravis Sports and Entertainment Division. You see, I'll never forget learning the quote: "If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit." If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. And saying I'm the vice president of the William Ravis Sports and Entertainment Division. He probably has a cubicle. He probably has a cubicle somewhere in the corner. And they came up with that name. The sports. Let's create a sports and entertainment division just for you. Okay, but they're looking for rental properties for the upcoming spring training. Here we are just toward the end of the season. I live in an interesting place because I go out I pull out of my garage, and within about 10 minutes I can be at the Minnesota Twins spring training camp or the Boston Red Sox spring training camp, and as such, it kind of adds a little bit of uh, value to this place, being a rental during the spring. You got your snowbirds coming down, but the snowbirds come down and they saturate Florida as a whole. But then, you throw in the dynamic of the spring training, and that kind of puts a whole different twist on it, because now you can rent to baseball players, you can rent to their fans, you can rent to the the members of the organization, like the you know different people that work for the teams, etc. But anyway, the who's somebody's making comments here on my video. That's always there's a live chat. Budapest Vajok. Oh wow, Ermika. Ermika is watching my video. Ermika, she doesn't understand. Ermika doesn't understand what I what I say to her. Ermika is a Ermika was the mother is the mother of the woman that the lovely lady that I dated in Budapest for years, Nori. And Nori and I, when I met Nori, her English was fine. Her English, I could communicate with Nori, but her mother, we used to go down to Keshkamit. We take the train on a Friday evening usually, or a Saturday morning, and down to Keshkamit we would go. And Apu was his father. Apu used to always meet us at the Apu used to always meet us at the station in Keshkamit, and we'd go to we'd spend the weekend with Apu and Anu. And it never ceased to amaze me. I would sit there in the house. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I would sit there in the house, and Anu would just talk to me. She would just talk, like she'd sit down and she'd just start talking to me in Majad. And I remember one day telling Nori, my girlfriend, saying, "Why does your mother keep talking to me? Why does she keep talking to me? I mean, what am I supposed to say?" And she laughed and she said, Anu talks to you in Hungarian because she thinks that if she talks to you long enough in Hungarian, that you'll learn it. And that's why, and I did pick up a little bit. It'd be like, Anu kerek szépen kicsi gumbás leves, which is, let me have a little mushroom soup, please, you know. But anyway, boy, I've got fond memories of Hungary. But anyway, back to the Boston thing. So, they're looking for rental properties. And, I'm the type of guy where, if I rent this place, I can rent this place during the winter for about $4,500 a month. So that's over a couple months, that's 9,000. And then, they usually take something like I don't know what it is, 10% or 15%. They'll take 10 or 15% of the income. So what is that? 900, 1,500 bucks, something like that. And you know what? I would just as soon pick up the phone and call the Red Sox. Just call the Red Sox up in Boston and say, "I've got a rental property for you, if you're interested." And doing the whole contractual thing isn't all that difficult. But I see Anu is still hanging in there, talking to me. So nagyon szép, Anu, nagyon szép. But es nagyon kedves, nagyon szép, es nagyon kedves. But hmm. Anyway, Najon is like very much, and Sape is beautiful, and Kedvesh is nice. But boy, if I had ever learned Magyar, if I learned to speak Hungarian fluently, I think I'd own that country. I think if I could walk the streets of Budapest, being able to speak the language and engage the people in conversation, boy, wouldn't that be something else? But I guess I could, if I really applied myself. If I really applied myself, kind of reminds me of the phone call that came from my mom yesterday after my video. My mom watches my videos. I think that I don't know if she watches live. I don't know if she watches live, and I don't know if she ever, gives me a thumbs down or a thumbs up. Maybe she does. But anyway, she called yesterday to clarify something regarding the discussion, and she told me that she said that when I was going from the sixth grade to the seventh grade, you had to take like an aptitude test or something like that. Some type of, I think it was an aptitude test, but you had to take an aptitude test. And my mom called me to tell me that the school called after I took the aptitude test, and they said that they said to my mother that I have a very high IQ. Mrs. Hall, Tommy has a very, very high IQ. And my mom said that she asked them, she said, "Well, what's his IQ?" And they said, "Well, we can't tell you that. We're not gonna tell you what little Tommy's IQ is, but it's really high." And made me it made me start to wonder. I don't know that my mom ever told me that, but it made me start to wonder, and they never did tell her what my IQ was, but anyway, I I used to frustrate my mom because I wouldn't I would tell my mom, this is what she told me yesterday. I would tell my mother that if I study, I will get A's and A plus and A's and what have you if I study. If I don't study, I'll still get passing grades. I'll still get C's and B's and what have you. So why study, when I can be watching Batman reruns and and the Jetsons and the Adams family and stuff like that. Why should I spend all my time studying when I can just go into the class and just take the test based upon what I learned, sitting there when I had to sit there and and pass. Why bother studying if it wasn't necessary to achieve what I wanted to achieve, and that was to get through school. Hmm. And that was my thinking for years. That was my thinking for years. But then, things started to change. I went out into the world. I went out into the world, and I oh goodness, I still think of Anu sitting there in Keshkami right now watching my video, not understanding a word I'm saying. But anyway, I went out into the world, and it didn't take long before I realized that just enough was just going to give me an average life. It was just going to give me an average life. Doing just enough was going to give me just an average life. And I wanted more than an average life. I was running around with these people that had the big houses and the beautiful cars and the beautiful women and going out and having nice dinners and say I'll pick up the check and all that kind of stuff. I wanted all that, and that's when I learned that just enough wasn't going to cut it as far as achieving all that stuff. And hmm, that's when I hit the barrier of the whole confidence thing. I remember spending years avoiding the whole thought of going to college because I didn't have the confidence in myself that I could go through those college courses and what have you. And anyway, so all that kind of eventually eventually turned around, and now just enough is never enough for me. I don't know if I have attention deficit disorder, but if you're going to do something, do it right. That's become my philosophy. If you're going to do something, well, it's not my philosophy, but somebody's philosophy. Somebody once said that if you're going to do something, do it right. So I can't take credit. I can't take credit for that, although I'd like to. but but anyway, somewhere along the line, I turned a corner, and now I strive for perfection. I strive for perfection in almost everything I do. But anyway, if you were going to, here's a question for the day for everybody out there. If you were going to describe yourself in one word, what would it be? You can paste that in the comments. Okay. Describe yourself in one word. Okay. And then Harry, I want you to describe Amy in one word. All right. Let her throw her word out there also, Harry. But I want you to throw in your one word for Amy. Okay. But maybe one of these days I'll make it to Belfast and go out and have morning coffee with Harry and his lovely bride. They probably have those funny accents. They probably have those hmm, funny accents. And it wouldn't surprise me if Harry wears green underwear. Being Irish, he probably does. Probably wears green everything. But anyway, Skipper's coming down today. Skipper's coming down. He's going to leave in the morning and head on down here. And I told him that I had everything planned. I said, "Oh, I reserved the bocce ball court for 2 o'clock." He said, "I'm not playing bocce ball." And I said, "I got the pickleball court reserved for 5." He said, "I'm not going to play pickleball." I said, I reserved the movie theater. We can watch a movie." He said, "I could do that. I could do that." He said, "I'm bringing my swimsuit. I'm bringing my swimsuit for the jacuzzi because I want to bring I want to bring adventurous panties or underwear. Laugh out loud. They would say you are the one with the accent." But anyway, but Skipper's bringing his swimsuit, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't even know if I should go down there with him because then I'm going to have this vision in my head of seeing Skip Smith in a swimsuit, and I think that he was here before, and I saw him in the Skip Smith was here before, and I saw him in the swimsuit, and it wasn't an easy sight to get out of my mind. I had to do. I think I had to go to therapy. I think I had to go to therapy after the last time I saw Skip Smith in a swimsuit. But hmm. Anyway, so that is that's about it. But I should. I probably said this before. I probably said this before, but the next time you're out and about and you go into like a supermarket or something like that, and you see a woman pushing a cart and she's got 2 or 3 little kids, and you think to yourself, wow, how could she do that? My mother raised 10 of us. My mother and father, I should say, raised 10 of us. And, my mother did the brunt of the child rearing. My dad did his job in going off to work every day and bringing home the bacon, so to speak. But my dad did his job, but my mom did the brunt of the raising of the children. She really put in the put in the hard work. And at one point in time, my mother had 5 children under the age of 5. And you think, how is that possible? If Skip happens to be watching this video, Skip, I'll help you out. Okay. So she had a 4-year old, a 3-year old, a 2-year old, a 1-year old, and then a newborn. And you think, how is that even? I mean, to have 5 children under the age of 5 at one time. Goodness gracious. I just can't even imagine. I go out in the world and I look at you know couples struggling with 1 or 2 children, going crazy in the produce department. But now you throw in several more. Mm. And mom, if you're watching this video, my goodness gracious, that's I've seen some people accomplish some pretty good things over the years, but to raise 10 of us, and as my dad used to say, we all turned out all right. But anyway, that's about it. I need to get on with my day. I like these comments, and I would stick around chatting if they would come on. I have heard God never gives you more than you can handle. An amazing mother. Yeah, yeah, an amazing mother. She was. It was a boy. I mean, amazing. Just cooking dinner every night cooking dinner. My mom was a home economist, and and cooking dinner every night, for 10 kids. And that's why when I sit down to eat, I eat fast, because when we were kids, my mom and dad, they didn't have the budget where they could just make a whole bunch of tuna casserole, enough for leftovers the next day. They didn't have that kind of a budget where they could just make so much food that there was always enough, always leftovers. There was always enough, but there wasn't always enough for leftovers and stuff. Sometimes there was a little bit left over. So if you wanted that little bit of tuna casserole left in the kitchen, you had to eat really fast, really, really fast. It was never for a problem for me on Lent during Friday, on Fridays during Lent. Eating fast was never a problem for me, on Lent and during Lent and, during Lent on Friday nights. Then it was always fish, and I hated fish. And I used to feed my dog under the table. That was really that required skill. Feeding the dog under the table required skill, because mom was always watching. Mom was always watching. She was looking around the table to see, and to take that fish, and just little piece by little piece, kind of just put it under the table, and feed the dog. Now the peas, that was another thing. When mom served fish with peas, putting the peas under the table, that was a whole nother thing, because the dog didn't like peas. But anyway, all right, I need to get on with my day. So and everybody hmm, have a great day. All right, take good care.